Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific Northwest, from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
The sweet, sweet Mariners.
The 500 Mariners.
Yeah, postseason's looking a little out of reach.
It's looking tougher and tougher by the day. It's been a little while since we recorded. Didn't record during All-Star break since Kane and I were at All-Star festivities. Some busyness
Yes.
arose, and coming into the break, Mariners did pretty good. After the break, not so much. But before we get too deep into that, why don't I tell you a little bit about us? If you're looking for a guy that is a Vladdy Jr. type, bigger guy just powers his way through all the way to the end, wins himself great things. Maybe you're looking for a guy like me, your boy Coach Red. You can find me on Twitter at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red. Also, hop on over to YouTube, search the show, Kicking It with Coach Red, like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, leave a comment or two. While you're at it, hop on over to Insta and Twitter and follow the podcast page at Coach Red Pod. Follow us. Do it, freaking do it. If you're looking for a guy that's going to come out really strong in this episode, get really tired and fizzle out, just like your boy J Rod did in the home run derby, maybe you're looking for a guy like Kane.
That's a really good one, actually. Yeah, I'm Kane. You can find me on Twitter at Kane2406, on YouTube at Kane06, TikTok and Kick Kane0624.
I'm looking for Kane to come in strong with the recap and just see him peter out. I'm just going to be like huffing and puffing through the second half, but still just barely get us to the finish line.
That's probably true.
It's fun. That was another reason we couldn't record last week because I didn't have a voice after Julio
Oh
hit
God.
41 dingers in the first round. It was
Yeah.
intense at T-Mobile Park that day.
It was such an amazing experience to be at, especially what made it better is I got to be there with you, and I also got to be there with my co-host Day. It was super cool of him to fly out for it. Super fun to hang out with him, and it was just one of the most fun times I've ever had in my life. So,
Jeez, are you gonna cry now?
no,
Oh, okay, thought you were starting to well up with some tears
no,
of
not
joy.
today. Oh, that's right. I don't record with these anymore.
Oh, great! Just coming in strong. All right, recapping the second half game. Ready, set,
All right.
go.
It's been trash. Oh my God. This team, I thought the break would do them good. I thought having the All-Star game and all of that shit in Seattle was going to be good for the team. Give them a little bit of morale, to see how many people actually showed out. And I don't know. This team is just in shambles, dude. Like, it's right back to where they were before. They play a good game. They lose two. They were terrible against the Tigers. God, the only good spot I've seen is Eugenio Suarez because he's hitting dingers. That's just about it. It's just sad to see.
Well, I think that coming into the break, they'd won 3 consecutive series against the Rays, Giants, and uh, Astros, all fairly good teams that are doing very well in their divisions, except for the Giants, who are kind of mid pack. And then you're coming
Yeah.
against some lower level teams in the Twins, the Tigers to start, and you were hoping that that momentum would roll, but the break almost got what was happening put it on a little pause because Mariners are getting pesky, and they really weren't that pesky Friday against the Tigers. They tried to come back a little bit, couldn't get all the way there. Don't know what happened at all on Saturday. Was chilling with Bert Kreischer, and then Sunday eking out a 2-0 win. So lose the series, and then come in first game against the Twins and go up against Sonny Gray, who's dealing, and they just chip away, chip away, chip away, build a big enough lead where they almost implode. Poor Ty Adcock had to get sent down today. Said it last night while I was at the game after he gave up more home runs. I said, Ty Adcock will not be on this team by the start of the game tomorrow. And guess what? He was not. And I do like myself, Ty Adcock. First half, Ty Adcock. No runs given up. He's given up a lot of runs so far here in the second half of the season.
That is one thing that I've kind of seen is, the game on Monday was close. I just kept
Harder than it
checking.
needed to be.
Yeah, I kept checking my phone because I kept getting the updates because I was busy playing with my kid, and I just saw that the Mariners kept scoring, and I was like, "Oh my god, what's happening?" And then you go to Tuesday,
Yeah, I did go
and
to the game on Tuesday, and it was not fun.
first inning, you get the lead.
Well, Wu gives up 2 in the first, which is not a good start, and the Mariners come out hot and get back-to-back runners thrown out at home plate to end the inning. The Mariners, I think I texted you and Lefty, and after the first inning, I said the Mariners are on pace to have 48 hits. They
Sure did.
finished with 9. And guess what? The Twins didn't. The Twins kept scoring. And the guys at the game
Uh,
with had said, because we are looking at scoreboard too, a ton of teams scored over 10 plus runs yesterday in games across the board. So it was a big day for offenses, just not the Mariners offense.
yeah, it was kind of sad to see him fizzle out like that, especially after that big first inning. So this is not great. And as you said, I mean, Wu gave up, I believe, was it more than two? Yeah.
In his he got chased in the fifth. I believe he gave up 5 runs.
Yeah, 5 or 6 runs last night, and then the rest of the damage came later. Bullpen kind of fell apart, which has been one of the strongest parts. At
Well, you
least not
also
the
weren't
whole
throwing
bullpen.
many high leverage guys. I mean, big ups. Isaiah Campbell came in, pitched pretty well. Saucedo pitched decent, and then Adcock had to wear it. These guys just had to wear it. You weren't going to blow up the bullpen. Bullpen was a little
Yeah,
active the day before because Logan couldn't get you as deep as you would have hoped. But it was a rough one. One good thing that came from the game, though, the section that I was sitting in had the best selection of jerseys by people in a near vicinity. Do you want to guess some of the guys that I saw jerseys of? Or there was also one jersey that I will say. There's 3 that I saw. One is a pitcher who was an extremely good pitcher, but was not with the Mariners for a very long time. If you were going to guess Cliff Lee, you'd be right.
wasn't he only with the Mariners for like 20 games?
No, it was like a half season. Someone was rocking a Cliff Lee jersey. We also had like another old school guy that I don't see a lot of jerseys. Nice Raul Ibanez.
Yeah, I like that. I
I
like
saw
that.
I saw a very sweet Taylor Motter jersey
Really?
and a Kenji Jojima jersey. That was all in my section. It was awesome.
that's a that's a wide range, to be honest.
Yes, it is. And that's what's going to lead us to the second half of this episode, which is pick a random Mariner. We're not going to say we're each going to pick a pitcher and a hitter from Mariners past that we would want on this team right now. And we're not going to sit there and go, I want Randy Johnson and Ken Griffey Jr. We're not picking superstars. They could be very good players, but kind of
Fridge.
not those frontline guys that you think of when you think Alex Rodriguez, Edgar Martinez, those
Mhm.
type of players.
Right, right.
Like
Yeah.
good players that you would want. Why would you want them on the team right now, the way that it's currently constructed? Kane, give me a player and why?
What do you want first?
I don't care.
Okay, we'll go pitching. I'm gonna take good old Charlie Furbush.
Chuck Bush?
Uh yeah. Back in the 2010s, he was awesome out of the bullpen. The dude shut people down, and I believe he was the setup guy for uh good
Homa
old
Helmson.
Wilhelmsen. So the dude was absolutely electric. Loved every second he was on the mound. I think he would fit in well with this team, and I think he'd be a big help, kind of give him an extra push. Coach Red, what
I
about you?
think that he's a more established lefty specialist too, because you have two lefties in the pen right now, and Gabe Spire and Taylor Saucedo. Saucedo's kind of been relegated to more mop up duties lately,
Mm-hmm.
up bigger, down big. And then Spires was better at the beginning of the year, and he's kind of trickled down a little bit. And you've seen that sustained success with Charlie Furbush, where I think a true lefty specialist would do you good for this team.
Yes. Yes. Coach Red, who's one of your players?
I'll do my pitcher as well, and this one was tough because I didn't really have any back end guys that I wanted because I like our back end right now. The tough thing is like there's not a whole lot of guys to bump from the starting rotation, so I wanted a guy that I could put in the starting rotation to limit some innings for Wu and Miller, and also kind of be my long guy out of the pen, which was not his role when he was with the Mariners. And that is Thumber Jamie Moyer.
Oh,
I want 80-mile-an-hour fastballs coming in there because in today's major league, Jamie Moyer, they wouldn't know what to do. It would be too slow, and he is pinpoint on the accuracy. In today's
it's
game,
true.
you take Jamie Moyer and insert him on this team, I think you're in a pretty good spot
I
because
agree.
he could start for you, but he could also be your long guy out of the bullpen, kind of like end of the year last year, Chris Flexen. After you made the trade for Luis Castillo, he gets bumped from the starting rotation, could be your long guy, and was effective in that position out of the bullpen. I think you could see the same with Jamie Moyer.
And as you said, the older presence too. Just it would be a masterpiece. Honestly, watching him pitch back in the day was something, man. Uh, I don't think hitters are attuned to a slow pitcher anymore. They're more ready for that 102 fastball that's coming, or a 90-mile-an-hour slider. So I think it would be just nutty.
Yeah, that's why I picked him. I thought he could fill because I think that's the biggest hole for this team right now is
Mhm.
length out of the bullpen because they don't have a guy that really can go multiple innings. Like your closest guys, Isaiah Campbell gets sent down today, but he was a starter coming out of Arkansas. I even said it before the game ago. The first guy that's in this game is going to be Isaiah Campbell because he has starter experience. You can extend him out. Saucedo ended up going two, and I believe that Adcock ended up going two as well, but that's not their forte at all.
Mhm.
There isn't a guy that can go multiple innings. There's not that guy on this team right now. So bring in Jamie Moore. You can be that guy. You can spot start him. And he doesn't throw hard. So guess what? He can get you deeper into games, and people are going to be geared up, and they're going to put balls in play. And it's happened when I was growing up. We would hammer the better competition, but you throw a little lefty thumber at us and we'd hit the piss out of the ball, just go right to people left and right because you're geared up, you're still hitting it, but you're not getting any of that power from fastball. So
Right.
you're having to supply all that power. And there are guys in the major leagues right now that where that can work and they can do that. But a lot of guys feast off of making sure their launch angles and everything are based off of that 95 plus mile an hour fastball.
Yeah, I like it.
Who's your
I like it.
player?
All right. So my other player is gonna be Dustin Ackley. I really enjoyed Dustin Ackley when he was on the Mariners. I know he kind of fell apart, but those early, I believe the first 2 years, the dude was just unstoppable.
First year,
Hell yeah.
half
He
of a year because he came up midway through, came in hot.
he was just everywhere once he got the call. And the dude played a great second base. Um, but yeah, I like Dustin Ackley's swing. I think he gives them a little bit more flexibility with where you could play him at. Um, I just think it would be a good fit for it, just as the versatility that he has.
Out of all the players you could have picked, you picked Dustin Ackley.
Yeah.
Like, I no offense, I hope you get roasted. Like, even if you were trying to think of like second basemen, you had the likes of, I don't know, Brett Boone, who ended up hitting 40 homers. You have Harold Reynolds that stole every base and is like one of the few guys to beat Ricky Henderson in for the stolen base crown in a year. But you went with Dustin Ackley, one of the biggest busts of all time. So congratulations, Kane. You made a phenomenal choice. I'm surprised you weren't at the game yesterday wearing a Dustin Ackley jersey.
I gotta always keep it interesting, right?
I guess.
Huh. Coach Red, what do you got?
Well, for me, I'm tired of seeing guys strike out. I want guys that get on base. I want a high average. Um, didn't really look in the outfield because I feel like that's where you've got the most depth right now and your best pieces completely. There wasn't a catcher I liked to fill in, and Tom Murphy's playing well enough. And Cal, when he runs into one, it helps out. And I wasn't going to pick like Dan Wilson. Gino's starting to get hot, and JP is playing pretty darn well at shortstop. So that left me second base and first base DH. And with the struggles of Ty France getting moved down the lineup, came up big on his bobblehead day in the first inning with a big double that scored a run. But give me John Olerud.
Ooh, Helmet Man.
I want someone that is consistently going to be around 300. And I know it's a different game, but he was one of the better bat to ball guys of his time. You had him and Edgar on the same team, and those guys were getting on left and right. And he's a guy that plays a very good first base, can spell Ty, give him some more time in the cage to get right. And I just want to get on base. Like, that's the issue right now is there's so many strikeouts that are happening. So many. And talking about this yesterday, when you strike out this much, you need to put the ball out of ballpark more. And right now, the Mariners are near the top of Major League Baseball in strikeouts. I think they're second behind the Twins and how many times they've struck out this year. But for their power numbers, their home runs, they're sitting like middle of the pack, like 15, 16. The Braves strike out quite a bit, but the Braves are number one in home runs. Like, they put the ball in the
Yeah.
ballpark, and you can take that trade off. But you're starting to see Gino come around, but you can't have the likes of Gino batting like 218 or Teoscar, batting 225 and striking out at the rate they're striking out and not put the ball over the fence.
Right.
If you're looking at where they're at right now and where they could finish, they're not gonna. If they do, they're barely touching 30 dingers. Like, if you're gonna strike out that much, like Gino, you struck out a lot last year. You hit 35 dingers. We will take that trade off.
Yeah.
You
I
can't do
mean,
that. And with Olerud, he can put the ball. He's like Ty France, left-handed with a little bit more pop,
yeah.
and
I
but longer periods of putting the ball in play.
yeah, in the cap off what you said about the hitting struggles. I mean, like it's
Not fun to
I
watch at all.
I feel the most exciting guy for me to watch is JP because he just
Grinds.
like I said in so many episodes that he is the perfect leadoff guy. He's got he has the ability to get on base. His base running awareness is off the charts. Um, and he electrifies the team. It sadly, Julio just, I don't know.
He's good. Julio, let's give Julio credit. He did what he's been doing lately in the All Star game. Big clutch walks. He did. He had big
Yeah,
clutch walk in uh the Twins game and the Tigers game that led to more runs. It was great.
I just, I don't know. He's, I just want
He's
this team
tough.
to be better.
Yeah.
I think, as you said, Olerud was always consistently around 300. That's something this team desperately needs.
I just want to see more guys get on base. And I
Go get
know
Shohei. He hits
it's
around 300.
Jesus, get out of here. Uh, because you do have to have balance of some of that power because you can't just have an on base team because you have that with the Cleveland Guardians where they're heavy on base but not much power. But you got to be able to drive those guys in, and you can't just hit single, 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 single all the time. You got to be able to
Right.
hit those extra base hits for and bring those guys in. It doesn't always happen.
The one thing I see with this team right now, though, is that you only have like two guys that hit for at least contact, and the rest are trying to mash it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like 2 to 7 is not great. I don't know.
Yep.
It's
But
tough.
don't worry. Be happy because stuff's gonna happen. This team will be different here in a couple weeks for one way or another. They're gonna
Yeah.
start. Some guys are gonna start getting moved, whether they're bringing guys in to compete for another playoff spot or whether they're shipping guys out to prepare for next season. It is going to be an interesting next couple of weeks before the trade deadline, and we will be here to talk to you about those things and many, many more here on Kicking It with Coach Red. But before you get off your phone or device or whatever you're listening on or watching on, follow us on social media. You can find me, your boy Coach Red, on Twitter at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red. Also hop on over to YouTube, Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, leave a comment or two, and follow the podcast page on Twitter and Insta. Follow us, follow us, follow us. Do it, freaking do it. Kane, where you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Kane2406, on YouTube at Kane06, TikTok and Kick Kane0624.
And as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.